wake your ass up
or take a damn nap.
And we're the three best friends that anybody could have.
It's time.
Sean, you were twerking. That's going to happen.
Murph, don't be a dick all your life.
It's one of the more fun podcasts I've ever done.
Hey, I tell you what, if you're not talking about sports in the man cave, I bet not say you not a man.
That's it.
Well, an interesting day. When you see this podcast, episode 79, college baseball will be completed from Omaha. Only one familiar face, but three better-looking faces than myself. Big Mike, Coach Mo, they are, and Hardball Hardge, they had other obligations today, and they were warranted, and everyone needs a break. But joining us, John Hygh. He's a local legend here in Austin, Texas. Hygh from Fox 7 Sports, and we have the Whiteheads, and that is the theme of today's show, the pride of Lampasas, Texas, Ace Whitehead and his dad, Kirk. Welcome to Stories Inside the Man Cave.
Great to be here.
And Hygh, you remember covering Ace a little bit at while he was at Lampasas in those phenomenal runs, correct?
Yeah, and I got to go to a little bit of the game against LBJ this past year, and that was pretty fun because that one was built up. It was fun to watch.
And that's kind of where I want to start this with you guys, Ace and Kirk. Full name, by the way, Cade Whitehead. First and foremost, I know it's surface level question here, but how did we come up with Ace?
Well, my wife's granddad was AC and was called Ace a lot, and we named Ace after him. His name was Aloysius Charles, though, and we didn't want to hang Aloysius on him, so we came up with Cade. But he's been Ace since before he was born, and if you ask people in Lampasas, most of them don't know what his real name is. It's going with Ace.
And Hygh, I forgot to tell you, pop in and ask questions whenever you feel like it, because you are, the Whiteheads are the VIPs this week, but you're the VIP co-host, if you will, guest co-host.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever done this, so I'm glad to be doing it with you guys.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, I love Lampasas. I grew up with Johnny Lamb. He was like a uncle to me, so yeah, I know all about Lampasas.
Johnny was a good friend, and I'll get Ace to tell a story about Johnny here in a little bit. He was, pretty much a legend up there, and we got a chance. I had known him for a long time. Ace got a chance to meet him, and he has been influential in athletics and Lampasas for a long time. So we've got some Johnny stories we'll share.
Hey, I love it. We could definitely save those for the man cave story. Yeah. Now, those of you probably know Ace simply because of the athletic achievements. For those who are watching from other parts of the country, the Texas baseball signee. But to give you an idea of how electric this young man was at Lampasas, he was a major reason of why Lampasas flipped the switch in success in football. Junior season, listen to this, in 2019, the state's 4A Offensive Player of the Year in Texas, 70 combined touchdowns. That's like Johnny Manziel-like, if you will, or Baker Mayfield. And as for his career, 190 career combined touchdowns, 14,000 career passing yards. And your dream was football, Ace. Who actually, and I know the Power Five offers didn't happen for you, but who did offer you for football?
I think Permian Basin, that was one. I can't remember the name of there was a JUCO school that offered me. But really, it was starting to pick up right around the time that I committed for baseball. Like Tarleton was they were like, if we offer you, will you decommit from Texas? And I was like, absolutely not, but thank you. But I think if Texas hadn't offered me right about that time, I probably would have got a few FBS schools.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, just like it was slow. I mean, I didn't expect it to go like that, but, I mean, I'm glad it did.
It's amazing how that goes because Hygh, he played college football, was the quarterback at then Southwest Texas, now Texas State. You know a thing or two about all how recruiting, and as those offers slowly come through to the one that you desire, so to speak.
Oh yeah, man, recruiting was awesome. I mean, it's a lot different nowadays because our coaches did a lot now. Shoot, parents and yourself can get your tape out there and get your name out there. They have 7-on-7s, all kinds of stuff now that we didn't have. I'm old. I was back in the 90s. But Ace, I wanted to. So, how hard was that decision, or did that make it easier? Not getting a lot of offers to go with baseball, or did you already know that you always wanted to go baseball instead?
I would say up until the summer after my junior year, I thought I was going to play college football. Baseball was really just an afterthought. But I mean, whenever I kind of narrowed down my decision, if I was going to play football, it was going to be at a school that had a baseball program. Like Colorado State was talking to me, but they didn't have a baseball program, and so I wasn't gonna really even consider that. But and then when a school like Texas, obviously one of them, I would say I'm a little biased, but the most prestigious baseball school in the country. I mean, there's no question about it. I think it took me 5 minutes to call them back and be like, hey, if you guys want me, I'm coming.
Right.
But yeah,
Now,
I mean.
Go ahead, Ace. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off from that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I think it made it pretty easy. If it had been like a small baseball school, it may have been, pursue football because for a while I really liked, the atmosphere of football is something that's hard to match. And, the physicality of the game, I don't really know if you can get it anywhere else. So if you're not ready to hang up the cleats, it's a hard decision to make.
Johnny, hi. I want to play off of what you said, basically what made him or was a decisive factor in him choosing baseball, because I think we all – I'm on the much lower level of football talent here. I'm barely have a pulse. And I remember how much it meant to me when I had to stop playing. And it's tough. Hygh, you remember you had 4 solid years. Playing at Southwest.
Well, 5. I redshirted. So I had 5. Yeah.
That's right. He came out of Fort Worth, Eastern Hills, right?
Western.
Oh God, I got it wrong. But obviously, Ace, you've been a Longhorn fan your entire life. I've heard and read about the stories you sing in the Eyes of Texas. But I think the most profound piece of your story is really the impact that your late cousin had on your life about 6 years ago, Braden Summers, and to pull from the resources of my former employer, K-View, Jake Garcia did I thought a phenomenal piece. No offense, Johnny, if you guys did one, I just didn't see it. But to those watching for the first time, here's a portion of that story to really give you guys an idea of how strong this story was and why it was such a factor on Ace's decision to play baseball.
Braden Summers was Ace's first cousin.
Our bond was more like brothers, really.
His teammate.
Pretty much everything that we were experiencing together.
And his best friend.
One of my earliest memories with him is just being in the front yard, like imagining that we're on the Horns playing in the College World Series.
But before they had the chance to fulfill that dream,
he came down with pneumonia, and he also was a MRSA carrier.
2 infections, both targeting his lungs.
From my understanding, the doctor said it was like the perfect storm in his body, and so it allowed the MRSA to flourish, and it settled in his lungs and just destroyed both lungs.
Braden was 13 years old.
It's like having your guts pulled out.
Kirk Whitehead saw his sister lose her son, his son lose a brother, and also the game that brought them together.
I thought that that was a healing mechanism, and at the time it really wasn't.
My love for the game was just totally gone. Being out there just kind of reminded me that, he wasn't there anymore. He wasn't getting to play with me. And so I really just hated being out there.
Ace quit playing baseball for 2 years, focusing instead on football, only to be later burned by a lack of scholarship offers.
We would hear often, he's just not tall enough. He's just not tall enough. He'd be like, have you seen his numbers though?
So with his athletic career at a crossroads,
I got a call from an Austin number.
a call from the Burn Orange,
That's a childhood dream.
which reminded him of a burning desire.
When UT showed interest, it was just like the fire ignited.
UT called and offered to kind of just like fixed everything. Braden wouldn't want me to quit. He wouldn't want me to stop playing a game that God's blessed me with the abilities to play at a high level.
Ace, Kirk, it's pretty powerful. And I know that others in this world have experienced things such as that are traumatic, tragic. But I know you can't see it now, but can you see that as, all right, it's all part of the process of life, but you never can explain it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ace.
No, you got it.
You don't. Ace and I both spoke at the funeral, and he spent 52 days on life support. And you just can't until you go through something like that. I remember listening to Ace talk, and then I spoke right after he did, and I walked up there and think, how in the hell did we get to where we're standing today? He's the Thursday night before he got sick, he scored 36 points in 7th grade basketball game, and the next night he was on a jet headed to Cook's Children's Hospital and never got out. And so you go from, and those Ace and him were close. They were like brothers, but I never heard them say a cross word to one another. Mm-hmm. And so it's been impacted everybody in our family's life in different ways, but it changed the way I look at the world. That I still wear this green bracelet, and I've had it on ever since he passed away to remind me that the people in your life are what's important, and the other things that go on are just part of what gets you through every day. And, I know it had a big impact on Ace, and he got completely away from baseball for a while because every time he'd go out there and play, he'd look over at first base and his buddy's not over there. And, my dad talked to him, I talked to him, and my dad basically put it this way. He said, he wouldn't want you to quit. He would want you to want to see you playing for the Yankees one day. And so that's kind of, it's been a driving force, and there's not anything that our family or Ace that we go through that he's not a part of. And, people are ask you whether you want to talk about it. We talked about it a little bit last night, but we want to talk about him every time we get a chance to, because it keeps his memory alive. I think that that's important. And a lot of what Ace has been able to do in athletics, I think, is there's a little bit of Braden in everything that he does. And it's just, I said at the funeral, he wouldn't want us to go through one day where we get up every morning and there's sorrow. He would want us to enjoy life. And it's not easy to do, but, I know that he is a part of everything that we do every day. And he made a big, in 13 years, I don't think there's been anybody that impacted my life more than he did. And I think Ace will probably tell you the same thing.
Yeah, Ace, now that you're in Austin, is there ever a moment or any day that goes by now that you're about to embark upon a dream that Braden's not part of it?
Yeah, so funny the way you worded that. I would say right towards the end of the school, I laid down at bed at night, and it was just almost every night it would just kind of hit me that, that thing that we'd been talking about and been dreaming about for so long here. And, it doesn't feel like that long ago. I mean, it feels like just 2 weeks ago we were out playing catch and stuff. But, like I've got a tattoo right here of 1/31/15. That's the day he passed. And, I talk to him every day pretty much in the mornings driving and stuff. So, everything that I do, he's with me. And I'll tell you, if he hadn't have passed, I don't know if I'd be in Austin, Texas right now. The motivation that, he brought whenever he passed, it was just like I wasn't going to let anything really hold me down or stop me from the goals that, we both wanted for ourselves. And one thing about Braden is, if he was still here today and I was in the spot I was in, and he wasn't going to play baseball at whatever school, it wouldn't matter to him, because all he wanted was the best for everyone. And I really don't know if I've ever met somebody at such a young age that is so pure and selfless, really. Like, I mean, he's really impacted my life, and I just don't know if I just really don't know if I'd be here if the circumstances that took place didn't. It's really just been a strong thing that's taken place in my life.
Mr. Whitehead, what did you guys talk about like after that happened? Because I know it was tough on everybody. How did you and Ace's relationship even get stronger than it was, and how did y'all help each other get through this?
Well, yeah, a lot of I never told Ace that, hey, we need to go practice baseball. He always, I worked all day, and when I got home, I really didn't want to go play catch for 2 hours and throw the football around and stuff. But I never told him that that I wouldn't, and I always did. And I used to play a lot of golf, but when my kids started playing stuff, I put golf on the back burner. And I think parents should help their children grow up and live their life with them while they're in that. And so that's something that we did. And we probably spent more time in the yard playing stuff after that happened than we did before, because I just thought it was something that both of us needed. And, we got closer. I don't think there's any doubt about that. My sister and my brother-in-law and Braden's little sister come to all Ace's games, and they're a part of it. And sometimes it's not easy, especially for my sister. She's seeing Ace go through some things that I get to see my son do stuff that my sister doesn't get to see her son do. But they're always there. When we played Carthage in the semifinals over in New Caney, they drove 4.5 hours from a basketball tournament that my niece was playing in and got there at halftime. And so it's really created a bond between Ace and I, and Ace and our entire family that it's special. And we all know the reason why that we're as close as we are. And I think it would be cheating his memory if we didn't treat it that way.
No, that's a good point. And and as Ace/Braden and the entire Whitehead family, you guys are about to witness something that a lot of people dream about. Thankfully, we all met at Occupy Left Field that day. Texas just finished a 50-win season. Ace, what was that day like? I wish I could roll the video of that day, but that's something else right there, that Occupy Left Field, that whole environment of June baseball here in Austin.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, kind of talking about football, I think you get down there at Dish Falk with all those rowdy people, and that's about as close to a football atmosphere as you're going to get for baseball. But, no, that's exciting, and I know just being immersed in that and seeing the people that you got on your side that are going to be cheering for you, it really makes you just want to go out there and succeed. So, it's a blessing to have those people there, and they're just crazy wild people. I love it.
We're used to crazy wild people. If you haven't been to Badger Field in Lampasas, Texas for a game, and we've got what we call the fence lizards that stand down in the south end zone, and they probably could teach Bill Belichick a few things about football. And at halftime, they go over behind the Valero and have a coaches meeting over there, and they make a trip in Valero and get them some refreshments. But they've been playing there since 1935, and it is crazy to see. So we're used to those big rowdy crowds. And I told Greg Tepper at Dave Campbell's, we were talking to him at Ace's junior year at the state championship games, and I said, I wish that we had got here for one reason. I wanted to introduce y'all to 7,500 Lampasas Yalus in here in their blue shirts cheering for the Badgers, because it's unlike anything you've ever seen. And to me, that's what's special about high school football or high school athletics. And when you go down to Dish Falk and it's packed like that, I mean, it was unbelievable that weekend, those games against South Florida. I mean, if they don't get your blood pumping, there's something wrong with it.
Now, Jay, how you got to no, the media wasn't allowed for some reason. I don't know why. I don't get it.
Yeah, they were 100% capacity, but they wouldn't let media guys in or TV guys in. It was crazy.
Maybe they think y'all are super carriers or something.
I don't know what they thought. I was like, I have my vaccine card. Here it is.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Ace, this is the part of the show that is a significantly sponsored show, the Jim Saxton State Farm Insurance Agency Man Cave Story, and the late Johnny Lamb Jones. He is a legend from Lampasas, one of the fastest human beings from the state of Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone in Lampasas is tied to him in some form or fashion. Would it be safe to say that Johnny Lamb Jones would be the focal point of your Man Cave story?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
Let's go ahead and deliver that. I can't wait. If it's a 1A, 1B, and 1C type situation with Lamb Jones, you go ahead and fire those off.
Yeah. So my first encounter with Johnny was at the dealership. I think he was in there visiting with my dad, and I came in there like I usually would. I was probably 7, 8 years old. I went and got a candy bar or something, came in there. There's this man standing there talking to my dad. My dad introduced me to him, and he said his name was Johnny Lamb Jones. And, with me being so young, I really didn't register. But he told me that he had ran in the Olympics. And I didn't really know what the Olympics were, but it sounded cool. And then he told me he'd played for the Jets, and I knew who the Jets were. I was little, but I still knew football. And but I remember one of the things that he told me that stuck with me was he told me that if I worked real hard, I might be able to play for an NFL team. And I was like, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. And then he said, but if you study real hard, you might be able to own one, and that's a lot better than one. And I was like, yeah, that does sound pretty nice. I bet Barry Jones, he would agree with that statement. So
100%. Kirk, I'm sure you have a collection of Lamb Jones stories.
Yeah, well, I was at the state track meet in '76 when he made the famous lap where he came from 40 yards behind, and he said everybody that he encountered the rest of his life was at that track meet, and he said if everybody that said they saw that race was there, that there'd have been 6 million people in Royal Memorial Stadium that night. But I was there. I was my dad and uncle were high school football coaches, and we were at the state track meetings. Actually, sat with Gordon Wood, who was the famous coach from Brownwood, and watched that. But after Johnny's junior year, one of the stories he always told was the head track coach over at Hygh told him, said, Johnny said, we got 3 great legs. He said, if you'll move over here, so we think that we might can break the national record with you. Johnny said, I just stood there and looked at him a minute. He said, hell, coach, anybody can win from the front. I like coming from behind. And, if you saw that race at the state meet, it was phenomenal. And he was about 10 yards behind when they got to the home stretch and won by 10. And the guy that used to be the superintendent at Lampasas was living somewhere else there. And he said his dad timed him and he ran a 44.5 anchor leg, and then went on and won a gold medal in the Olympics as an 18-year-old on the 4x100. And as soon as we brought up the Olympics and we're talking about Lampasas just had a long jumper, Stephen McCarter, that jumped at Texas, qualify for the Olympics. So that's our Lampasas' second Olympian. So we're pretty proud of that guy. But Johnny was Johnny had his problems, and Johnny owned them and paid for them. And he shared with kids, stay away from drugs, that they're not good. And they kind of ruined his professional career. And but he was a super guy. And I could tell you stories about Johnny for forever. The one, he had cancer and passed away. And in 2005, when Texas won the national championship, Johnny actually had been in the hospital, had bone cancer, and he lost 6 inches of height. He was 6 foot tall. When he died, he was about 5'6", and the doctors told him he wouldn't get out of the hospital. They didn't think that he would live. And his mother was old, and he told her when he got to come home, he said, "Mom, I'm going to live long enough to take care of you." And he died 2 months. 14 years later, he died 2 months after his mom did. And he held his promise to her, but he was just that kind of guy. Another thing that was real cool, Johnny never forgot where he came from. And when he got inducted into the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, he had a class from Lampasas. They had the kids go, and there were like 15 of them, and that class from Lampasas did his induction speech at the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. And when he died, they buried him in a Lampasas Badger shirt and a Lampasas Badger cap. So he was a Badger through and through. And it's a big point of pride for the people in Lampasas.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've only had an opportunity to talk. I had an opportunity to talk to him twice, and it was just a different energy. Now, Hygh, you probably have a man cave story about Johnny Lamb Jones.
Oh, like Mr. Whitehead, I have a zillion. Matter of fact, the picture he took after they won the national championship, I have that in my bathroom. So
I think you can see it hanging on my wall back there.
Yeah, I do see it.
That's the picture, and then that's the mile relay in the high school mile relay.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
The thing with Johnny with me is he was as great of an athlete and everything he did. He was just the most humble guy. I mean, didn't treat anybody any different. Was actually really shy and nervous. He didn't talk to people a lot. He had to learn how to do the speeches and stuff. I mean, he had to go through a lot, but he gave back a lot. He did a lot. One of my greatest stories with him was I was in high school, and he had stayed with us when I was in Fort Worth, Western Hills. and he'd go play with basketball with me at one of my buddies' house. I was like 13 or 14. And he beat me the first time we played. But he was really tired because he was older at that time. He was getting older, but he was still fast. And the next time I played him, I figured out that I would just run around and just have him running all day. And that was the first time I beat him. I wore him out, and I never forgot that, man. And like I said, when he stayed with us, he'd let me drive his car. He had a Saab. That was huge to me. I'm sitting here. I was an idiot as a kid, looking back. I'm on the back roads doing 120, 130 in his Saab. But man, he was just awesome. He was a great guy. And like I said, my heart's in Lampasas mainly because of him. But and now because of Ace.
Right. Yeah.
He after he got sick, well, I didn't think he could run, and I don't think he could. And I told him, I said, "Johnny, I've been dreaming my whole life about racing you, and I think today's the day." He said, "That's what I would do. I would wait till I get sick and pick on a man when he's down." And he said, "I saw Earl Campbell the other day, and Earl, in the shape that he was in, wasn't getting around good." And he said, "Earl, isn't it a shame? So we used to be two of the fastest people in the world, and you're the only guy in Texas I can outrun anymore."
Oh my God. Great stories. Lampasas and Longhorn legend. It obviously touched a lot of people. Now, Ace, before we let you guys go, while Hygh and I finish out the episode 79, your thoughts on this Texas baseball program moving forward, and where should we expect you as far as position wise, do you think, next season, the 2022 season?
Thinking about the Longhorns, they're just competitors. I think you can get that from watching them, and I think that comes from the coaching.
Yeah.
Talked to Coach Pierce numerous times, and he just seems like somebody that'd be from Lampasas, just a hard worker, strict business. But no, they've got all the talent that they need. The pitching staff, they've got Whitty coming back, Nixon, Pete Hansen maybe coming back. They're going to be fine. And then as for where I'll be playing next year, I have no clue. I'm just going to go out there, and wherever they want me, that's where I'll be, and I'll just grind away. So just kind of how it always is, just go work.
Absolutely. And Kirk, will we see you in Occupy Left Field next year?
I'll be there. It's like I had somebody come in and they had heard my son was going to Texas, came in the dealership, and Texas had played the night before, and he asked me, he said, "Did your son play?" And I said, "Well, if he did, he didn't. He's not there yet." I said, "But if he did, I wouldn't be in Llano, Texas. I would be in Omaha, Nebraska today." So, yeah, my wife and I, we don't miss much. So we'll be in Occupy Left Field and at those games. And yeah, I think that the thing about the team this year that was so impressive to me is the camaraderie and the team they had. And my dad coached for years and years high school football and track in Texas, and he used to say that good teams have coaches that are leaders, but the great teams are led by the people on the field. And I really think that, Coach Pierce and those guys are great leaders. But when you've got people like Antico and Zubia and even Austin Todd not being hurt, when you got leaders like that, you got a chance to have a special season, and they certainly had that.
That is one
that continues on, because that's what you, as a parent, that's what you want to see. You want to see your kids surrounded by good people and people that are champions that want to win. And I think he's in a great place. And you're not guaranteed anything in Texas. You work hard every day and earn your spot. But that's, if you don't want to be in that kind of a place, then you're not really a champion. And so I'm excited about getting to watch him and getting to, I think the baseball program's got a bright future, and I'm excited to get to watch those guys play.
Well, we are too. It's a special place. The Dish is it's like a happy place for myself included. It's just you can't describe it. Even if an Aggie were to stop by, if they just put away that Aggie, whatever it is, or an OU Sooner, just go enjoy the Dish, man. It is a special environment, and man, it's been a pleasure to have you guys. We got to do this again.
All right. Give us a call.
Guys.
I like to talk, and Ace can verify whether I'm telling the truth or not.
Hey, I have a feeling there's going to be a few group texts here pretty soon.
All right.
Ace, we got to get the horns up from you.
Oh, yes, sir.
There you go. Hey, we appreciate Ace and Kirk Whitehead joining us on segment 1 of episode 79. And on the other side, Johnny Hygh, Fox 7 Sports, and I will wrap things up with talking about Omaha and looking back on the season that was and that debacle that involved NC State and the NCAA, which is on its way down the hole. We'll see you on the other side of this break. One of the most loyal fans of Stories Inside the Man Cave podcast since day one has been Jimmy Saxton, the former Longhorn and former Westlake Chaparral, and the son of a Longhorn legend who was a Heisman finalist. He is also our primary sponsor for all of your insurance need. Log on to saxtoninsurance.com or give him a call at 512-441-1082. Again, that phone number, 512-441-1082. Jimmy Saxton, an Austin original, and has been insuring Austin for nearly 3 decades. How about that, Hygh? You've covered plenty of Longhorn baseball seasons. You've been to Omaha. How would you rate this since you've been in Austin as a professional as one of the Texas baseball seasons?
This was actually a really fun season to me. And first of all, I love your little video montage before you come on. Those things are well put together and pretty awesome. But no, coming out the gate, those first 3 games, it was like, oh crap, this is gonna, because Coach Pierce had talked about this team and he didn't know what to expect, but he knew it was going to be fun, and it really did turn out that way. In the beginning, it looked like things were going to be kind of crazy, and it wasn't going to be a Omaha year, and they just got things turned around and came together as a team. And I really enjoyed this season. I had a bad feeling with them going up to Omaha. Yeah. I was talking to Cliff Thornton, our photographer, and I was like, I just don't feel good about this opening game. They're the top seed there, with Arkansas getting knocked out and all that stuff. So I just didn't feel good about it, and they ended up losing that. But after that, I thought they would make the finals. I really did. I thought they would battle back, and that 4th game, they just couldn't get that one. That Will Bednar from Mississippi State was, whew.
That's on the next level right there.
It is.
It's between you, Dennis De La Pena, and Cliffy. You guys have seen a lot in this market. All good friends. We all work together in some capacity.
And Joe Salazar.
Oh my God, you cannot forget about the legend.
Joe knows more than all of us.
God, he's going to kill me for this one. He will kill me for this one. Oh my God, I cannot believe I left out the legend.
Right,
Sally. My apologize, buddy. I apologize for that, man. I owe you a 1 in a million play.
Well, you can just get it from me, and I won't even say anything to him.
So 37 trips now to Omaha. Obviously, how they lost or exited that in that elimination game, basically in the Final Four. That's the worst way to lose in any sport. A walk-off. Just you look up, and essentially Mississippi State got the guy over from second in. Texas had a guy on second in the top of the 9th, and they weren't able to get him in, Johnny. And this is immediately after the game. I know you saw that. These are the Horns looking back on what was a season this close to a championship.
Yeah, it's going to leave a sour taste in our mouths, but I think it'll motivate the younger guys even more in the team next year to come back and, finish unfinished business here in Omaha.
The only thing that I'm disappointed in is this team will no longer be this team anymore. And it's the most incredible team I've ever been a part of, and I've won a national championship and been here now 6 times. But just when you talk about culture and you talk about standards, you talk about all those buzzwords, and then you go out and watch it happen and just get inspired by young people. Young people are constantly being talked about of how they weren't like us back in the day. This group is incredible.
It sucks to lose that way, but it was an unbelievable season, and I'm really proud of this whole team, the coaches and the players. It was a hell of an experience.
Johnny, you just mentioned it. Ace Whitehead's dad mentioned it in segment 1. Player-driven leadership on that team, and you talk about a gigantic, enormous get to have in Antico as a graduate transfer from St. John's, and just immersed himself into this Texas culture.
Hey, he was awesome, and he had some struggles early on, and he said he appreciated Coach Pierce for sticking with him, and it turned out great. And one thing I'll say about Coach Pierce, he's not Augie, because Augie was my favorite coach forever at UT. Yeah. But Coach Pierce, he keeps it real. And that's one thing, as a journalist and a TV guy, that we respect more than anything is a coach that'll keep it real. Right. Big Schaefer, the women's basketball coach, he's right up there with Augie. He keeps it real. But that's what I love about Pierce. He tells it like it is, and he believed in this team, and they found a way to believe in each other and come together. And I know a lot of them are disappointed, but getting to Omaha is not easy, and doing what they did to get a game away, a run away from the finals is definitely not easy. So hats off to the Horns this year for me.
Absolutely, man. And it's you look at 3 wins that they had in Omaha, and I think that's the program's 86th, 87th, and 88th win in program history in Omaha or in the College World Series. I don't think anyone comes close to that.
All right. Right. Have you been to Ameritrade? I was in Rosenblatt the final game, but I've never been to Ameritrade. It looks awesome. I want to get up there, maybe one day.
You know what? I haven't been as a fan. Obviously Rosenblatt a couple of times. I just have a special place in my heart, as you do, for Rosenblatt and all the extracurriculars that took place.
Right. No, yeah, I have a lot of money up there. I need to go get back from Council Bluffs. So, it's not a lot. It was a lot to me back then.
Hey, Mark Pena from Occupy Left Field took a lot of money from Council Bluffs, Iowa at the casinos on a couple of trips. But back to your point before we move on to this next subject, that David Pierce, he's as real as you get. I have the utmost respect for that guy. He's approachable. He's clinical, if you will, as far as how he coaches. And he comes from a background where people, we're both the same stature. And I remember him telling the story that a lot of people doubted him, but he proved people wrong. He was a good ball player and worked himself up through the high school coaching system. And that's just to play off of what you said. That's why I respect the guy. Now, at 1:15 in the morning, and I believe it was during the Texas elimination game, this happened. The NCAA announcing that NCAA or NC State out. No contest with Vanderbilt. Now, did you read Kendall Rogers' write-up on how it all, the chronological order of how it all went down?
I did not, but I was watching the UT game. I think they were in a delay or something.
Yeah.
And I saw that come across the screen. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, because they had just played that day with 13 players, because they had other guys had COVID tests. And so that was already nuts. I just don't know how maybe you can tell me what happened. Cause I was just like, I was baffled because I thought they were getting tested while they were there. So I don't know if they were out partying or what, or I was like, just sit down somewhere. Just sit down in the hotel, go to the game.
Yeah.
I don't know how they all of a sudden got COVID, or unless they had it prior to getting there and then it finally showed up. So I don't know. I thought they were getting tested.
I think there were some other players that were not vaccinated. Of course, UT, their protocol, we all know all too well. It's strict and organized. And if I don't think people realize how often that players and coaches and support staff are tested. But from my understanding, and this is the only point that I'll defend the NCAA on this, is they use the same protocol as they have for all of the other championships, spring and winter and fall, which seemed like they were successful.
All right.
But this popped up. However, there was a miscommunication in length of time to acknowledge it to NC State. And how Vanderbilt, even though I know baseball is not a contact sport really, how Vanderbilt didn't have any issues, that shocks me.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm still baffled by this. I just don't know how they all. I want to know how they got it or when they got it. And and I guess was it the contact tracing? Did that come into play? I guess because
it did.
That day they had enough to play, even though guys were playing different positions that they hadn't played. They still. I know they would have done anything. They would have gone out there with 9 guys if they had to.
Oh, God.
When you're a game away, that's what hurt me so much is those guys. Because nobody gave them a chance. They weren't supposed to be there, and they were a win away from playing for it all. So that just sucks.
The Darlings who beat Arkansas eliminated them in Fayetteville, and we'll never have a true answer as to why. But that dotted what was a great College World Series,
right,
and the great sport of college baseball left a black eye.
Hey man. Tell me something good.
Jay Hygh, you may know that voice. That's Mike Hardge's son.
I haven't seen him in forever, man. Yeah, probably since after high school when he was heading to college.
Oh wow, it's been that long.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Man, God, he's former member of the media. Still a member of the media in other ways. But yeah, his son DJ, the voice of Tell Me Something Good, sponsored by our good friends at Cosmic Coffee and Beer Garden. I'll let you start off, Johnny Hygh, the pride of Fort Worth Western Hills, Southwest Texas / Texas State Bobcat, ran the wishbone. Stephen F. did get you in 95, the 1 year. But, man, tell me something good, brother.
Well, but Stephen F. is where I scored my first touchdown as a redshirt freshman.
Oh.
So I love Stephen F. Those were always great games. Tell you something good? Something good. What do I got? Something good. My dog is as lovable. I don't think you can see him. He sits like right near me.
Yes. Is that Buddy?
That's Buddy. That's my little buddy. Buddy is a lifesaver. I'm here by myself most times, so he's a really good thing. My family's a good thing. Friends like you are good. Life is good because it can be tough at times.
Yeah, there is no doubt about it. Hygh, I'll tell you something good. I still see residuals from this Longhorn baseball run, and I try not to relate everything to sports, but you saw people jump on board right as the region in the middle of regionals. People who probably didn't follow them before, they're still talking about it. They're still talking about that Omaha run, and you saw some people who were literally affected emotionally from it because how abruptly it ended on that walk-off. But you and I know how the business works. Those are the people who will be hooked and may either buy tickets or season tickets for next year. That's something good for the sport of college baseball.
Oh yeah, this team they have so much coming back. So that's another thing that's good. They'll be back in Omaha.
Man, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were exactly right where they left off, either advancing or winning it all.
And don't lose that opener. Don't do that. Don't make it tough on yourself.
Don't do it.
When you're one of the best two teams there, that shouldn't happen.
that will tax your arm.
It can happen. It can happen.
It can't. There's no way. So what we do right here, what we like to do, we got to give a big shout out to everybody who's not here. And then you give your own signature, say goodbye however you want. So for Coach Mo, the absent Big Mike, who is experiencing a lot of success with Last Stand hats, buy one, and Hardball Hardge, we out.
Oh, I guess it's my turn now.
Yeah.
I told you this is my first time doing this, so I'm honored that you asked me to do it.
Absolutely.
So you know how I always say bye to people. I'll just say peace up, A-Town down.
Hey, there it is, baby. Hygh, the pride of Fox 7. We out.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and get it up.